So before we go into the solution to this question here, let me just take a couple of minutes to to explain what I was doing the last solution. That the previous year questions is the key. Well, the practice to solving previous year questions is the key to score well in JEE Mains. For that matter, almost any exam that's conducted in India, right? So we have a question which actually says that a sportsman runs around a circular track of radius r and been asked to find out the distance traveled and the displacement, right? And this comes up in the year 2025. Now let's see what was the question in 2024, 1 year back. So April 4, 2024, we have a cyclist starts from the point in a circular ground of radius 2 kilometer. The displacement of the cyclist is, right? So again, circle displacement. What about 2023? A particle is moving with a constant speed in a circular path, turns by 90-degree instantaneous velocity to its average velocity. Although not distance and displacement, but definitely based on displacement, right? Now, again, this is in 2023 again. I think the same year, but a different, maybe a different day. Oh no, it's on the same date. That's interesting. Okay, maybe that's an error with my file here. Okay, anyway, what we have here is uh constant constant speed, right? Circular motion, and we need to find out the average velocity. So that's what I'm trying to say, that if you spend your significant amount of time in understanding the concepts, and then instead of working out random solutions, instead of working out random solutions based out of that, trying to apply the learned concepts, if you just learn your concepts and then practice only the previous year questions, the probability of you clearing the exam with a high score is really, really high than those students who spent time solving random questions. Okay, so yes, learning the concept is important, no doubt about it. But what's even more important is to learn where to apply it, not just to apply it. Now, where are we applying it? We are applying it only in previous year questions. That being said, a sportsman runs around a circular track of radius r. So this is radius r here. He's running around a circular radius, a circular track. He traverses the path AB. So I've assumed 2 points, the diametrical ends here, AB. So he travels the path AB. The distance traveled and the displacement respectively are. See, in my opinion, this is a very straightforward question. It has nothing to do with JEE Mains at all, in my personal opinion. However, what usually I see after the exams is, I mean, there are many instances where um, students who have given the exam, they just come after the exam and they say the exam was not really difficult, but then some of the questions were so challenging that it just made us feel that the other ones, which actually were really easy, like this, tend to be a bit off track. Which means this question, if given to you otherwise casually in a class to solve, it wouldn't be much of a difficulty to you. But then when you are into this question after solving a couple of tough questions, maybe from laws of motion or from electrostatics, or maybe from, for that matter, from any topic from physics, and then you are suddenly into this easy question, you're like, I just did a question which is really tough. This can't be that easy. Kind of, we are programmed to that, I would say. So, yes, although this appears to be a very silly question, it might take some, it might result in you making a very silly error while solving this question. Okay. So just to make sure that you get the concept really clear, I'm going to take you through the step by step solution to this question. Okay. So when we say he has traversed this path ABAB, it actually means the path ABAB has two components, A to B, and then again from A to B. Let's just break it down further. So the first path is from A all the way up to B here. And then we have another path which is from B to A, right? So this is AB, AB, true, but we have reached only till A. Now, to be more precise, what I was trying to say is we now move from A to B, and then we move from B to A, and in the third part, we move from A to B. I hope that makes sense. Okay, let's just revisit it one more time. So when we say the paths here, the first is A to B, which means we start from A here and end in B, tracking this path. Then we move from B to A, which means we start from B here and end in A here, which means this is the part that we are trying to take. Okay. And then again, we start from the starting point, which is A. We move like this, and then we come finish our point at B. Now, in all three cases, what is the path length? Which essentially means the length of the path covered, the length of the path covered. So if you're traveling, if you're walking like this, the path that you have taken, what is the length of that path? It is pi r. Why is it pi r? Because, come on, basic geometry, right? Because the curved length AB is actually half of the circumference, which is half of 2 pi r, which is pi r. Okay. So when we consider three different path lengths, all three of them have the same path length, which is pi r, and pi r. Therefore, the total distance will be the total path length, which is pi r plus pi r plus pi r, 3 pi r. Okay. Now, coming to the next part, which is the total displacement. The initial position is from A because the first path is from A to B. So this is the initial position. Maybe I can just draw it over here. Right. So this point here, it represents the initial position. And for the complete travel, the final position is this one here. So this B here represents the final position. Now let's just draw this one more time and eliminate this one here. Why? Because we don't need this one for calculation of displacement, because displacement depends only upon the initial and the final positions. Okay. So if we consider only the initial and the final position here, what we get is initial is A, final is B. Therefore, the displacement is actually the length AB, not the path length, the length within the circle AB. And what is this length AB? Since I have chosen diametrically opposite points, right? Diametrically opposite points, AB is actually the diameter. AB is actually the diameter, which is 2r. So AB here is the diameter, which is 2r. And the displacement is therefore equal to 2r. So if we combine these two, displacement is 2r and the total distance traveled is 3 pi r. And therefore, the correct option is distance and displacement as 3 pi r and 2r, option D. Okay. Now, the next steps in the solution here would be that I will take you through very simple tweaks of the same solution, spending some more time in working with the same problem here, of course. What are we trying to do? We're trying to do develop a practice. Now, I'm assuming that you were here for this question for the, you're just beginning your course here. So, what I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to take you through a set of different set of concepts or techniques or different set of ways to solve one problem and not just rely on a unique method or a formula to solve one. And what is the sole purpose of doing it? It's to make sure that you are independent on one concept, or rather, you just don't need you're not dependent only on one method to solve a question. No. So when you are independent of on methods, what eventually what you become is you feel more confident in the process of problem solving because you are not dependent on exclusively one tool. You have many tools to look at the same question. And when this is done for a for a really increasing number of questions, trust me, your confidence level will be extremely high. Okay. So the next set of solutions that we are going to do, it might look silly. Well, in fact, it is silly. It is very silly the way of looking at the this question here because this is the very straightforward question. Distance and displacement is just direct question. And again, on top of being a very simple question, we are trying to tweak it. We are trying to find different ways of looking at why. Because we are trying to build a practice. We're trying to build a habit that even if the question is something that we can do in just one single go, we try to explore multiple options of looking at the same and then coming back to the solution again. So it might look silly, it might look like a waste of time for you, but please don't skip the solution. Instead, try watching it full. Make a note of that as well and write down things along with me. Make it a habit that whenever you are writing things, make sure you're writing down things along with me. Okay? Okay, now going to the second part of this.